Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with 49 and 10, the two of them combining for 74 of OKC's 128 points. Their defense limiting Anthony Edwards to 16 points on the night, but now OKC up 3-1 and headed back home. We now bring in CBS Sports NBA analyst John Gonzalez. And John, this was nothing like what we saw in Game 3. Instead, this one tightly contested there until the final whistle. But what was the ultimate difference maker for OKC in this one?
Yeah, I mean, they played right down to the final buzzer. We finally got a good game in the Western Conference Finals, Kiana. I'm shocked by it, yeah. But the difference maker was what you'd expect, right? It was SGA and Jalen Williams really came to play tonight on a night where that defense locked up Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle, held them to a combined, 1 for 10 from deep. They were just completely locked up defensively. And then SGA and Jalen Williams, as you mentioned, SGA goes for almost a 40-point triple-double, and then Jalen Williams adds in 34. Those two guys, when they're both cooking, the fact that the Wolves were even in this, given that Ant and Julius Randle were really nowhere to be found, is kind of astounding. And on top of that, the Wolves turned the ball over 23 times, leading to 22 points for Oklahoma City. So I'm just kind of shocked, to be honest, that Oklahoma City, that it was even a contest, that the Wolves I mean, their bench was really good. Jaden McDaniels played really well. And then off the bench, Dante DiVincenzo and Nickeil Alexander-Walker played really well in the absence of Ant and Julius Randle. But yeah, that the Wolves even made this a game, given how well Oklahoma City's defense looked and how good SGA and Jalen Williams looked. Kind of surprising.
I actually think, and it might sound a little crazy, or maybe it doesn't, but if you're the Timberwolves and you're not having a great outing by Anthony Edwards, and you talked about the three-point numbers from Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards combined 1 for 10, they really made things difficult for Ant. Yet we're still in this one. But as far as Anthony Edwards, he did have just 4 points on 1 of 2 from the field in the first half. Just how did they manage to eliminate Minnesota's top guy and also make things challenging for Randle too?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about how those two guys didn't shoot the ball well. Somehow the Wolves, Kiana, still shot 51% from the floor and 44% from three. So everybody else, the supporting cast was really excellent tonight. But you're right, Ant and Julius Randle got locked up. For Ant, in the first 3 games, they were playing a lot of drop coverage. Tonight, they hounded him. They were throwing waves of different defenders at him. Every time he got the ball, especially in the pick and roll, they were throwing 2 defenders at him, double teaming him, blitzing him. And Julius Randle just couldn't even get a shot up, basically, for the whole night. He had 7 field goal attempts total and just 3 from beyond the arc. And when those two guys aren't cooking, when those two guys aren't scoring the ball, it makes it really difficult for the Wolves to win the game. They still could have won tonight because the supporting cast was so good, but they needed just one of those guys at least to get some offense going. And Ant did a little bit in the second half, but credit to Oklahoma City's defense. This is why they had the #1 defense in the NBA during the regular season, not by a little bit, by a lot, Kiana. And you saw that tonight. They came at him in waves. Jalen Williams played great defense. Lou Dort was fantastic. Then off the bench, Caruso and Kason Wallace. I mean, we're giving some heat to Ant and Julius Randle. But when you have defenders of that caliber, 2 of those guys made all defense in Jalen Williams and Lou Dort. And 2 of them in Caruso and Kason Wallace could have if they had gotten the minutes required to do it. And then on top of that, you have Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein in the paint cutting off the lane. So just really tough sledding for the Wolves, and all the credit due to the Oklahoma City defense.
Absolutely. And with everything you just said, I think that's what makes this loss so frustrating for the Wolves, to still be within reach, to be able to be locked up like that, but still having some of your other role players step up, but still falling short at home. Now backs against the wall. But speaking of, if the Wolves do have any chance of salvaging this series, what's the biggest area of focus? Because now you're going on the road, you're facing the league's best defense. I feel like there's no room for error here.
Yeah, there isn't. I mean, in the history of the NBA, only 13 teams have come back from down 3-1. On top of that, no road team has won yet. Well, the Oklahoma City Thunder won, but the Wolves haven't won yet on the road. So it's going to be really tough sledding for the Wolves in the Thunder's building. When the Thunder have a chance to close out the series, you know the crowd is going to be behind them. You got SGA and Jalen Williams rolling. And don't forget, Kiana, the Thunder are coming off an absolutely brutal loss in Game 3 where they lost. It was the worst playoff loss in franchise history. And that could have been a loss that lingered with them. Instead, they looked fantastic tonight. They said, no, that was one game. We're going to be fine. So now the Wolves need to do that. The Wolves, with their backs against the wall, need to respond, because if not, they'll end up going home. So what needs to happen and Julius Randle got to show up. And on top of that, you need another good effort from all your supporting cast. You kind of wasted that effort from the Jaden McDaniels and the Dante DiVincenzo's and the Nickeil Alexander-Walkers tonight. Even Rudy Gobert, who hasn't been that good in this series, had his best game of the series by far. So all of those guys got to show up. And then both of your stars got to get on that plane and score some buckets. Otherwise, yeah, series is going to be over for the Wolves.
You got to leave this game in the past. And now I feel like from what we've seen sometimes, when your back's against the wall, that's when we see your best effort. So who knows? Anything can happen. But I just know that is the best defense in the league, and they are showing no signs of slowing down. John Gonzalez, as always. Appreciate the insight. Thanks so much. And if you like what you heard from John, I know where you can get some more. Make sure you check out the Beyond the Arc podcast. John Gonzalez is joined by Bill Ryder as they do a deep dive across the association throughout the playoffs and beyond. Make sure you download and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.